This is actually beyond insane. So I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but this has got to be up there with like the biggest acquisitions of all time. Let's see. Biggest media acquisitions, because 80 something billion is actually absurd. Oh, it's right there. Netflix and Warner Bros. There it is. Because this is a railroad, right? Like a literal thing that just like spans thousands of kilometers. This is a media company. So I don't think we're gonna see like the full actual shockwave of this deal for a long time. Because people were saying like obviously Netflix doesn't do theater releases, right? Whereas Warner Bros. Has a bunch of very, very big cinema properties. And from the looks of it, for at least a little while, based on the reporting that I've seen, Netflix wants to basically keep Warner Bros. As mostly how they've been working thus far, and what the immediate goal is going to be is just to get rid of the like licensing costs in between Netflix and Warner Bros. Right? So the immediate like consolidation is just cost savings basically. But I mean, in the long run, they own literally all of HBO, all of it. Because HBO is a like a subsidiary of Warner Bros. They own all of Harry Potter, which again makes sense considering. Actually, no, wait, that was HBO. Yeah, never mind, that doesn't make sense. Harry Potter is being produced by HBO, not Netflix. So now they just have the whole thing. Okay, this is like all the DC superhero stuff, right? Don't know anything about it. All of Lord of the Rings, which is also crazy. Well, I mean, I guess it's not all of Lord of the Rings, because there was also like there was always the thing of what they can and can't adapt, right? But at least all the movies are going to be on Netflix permanently. Warner Bros. Japan, which has like limited involvement in a bunch of stuff, but JoJo's is obviously like the biggest one. So now with Steel Ball Run, they also probably just own the whole thing, which is crazy. And I'm fairly certain that they also still hold the rights to live action Attack on Titan, right? This is something we looked at a long, long time ago. Movie. This was like 2018 or something. I believe this is it. 2017. Yeah, there it is. So this is something that was supposedly happening, but obviously it never did. Whatever happened with this, it's dead. But I presume they still have something that is written with it. Now, I don't think it's probably going to move forward in any meaningful capacity, but it is still something that they can do, which is wild. Broadcasting rights, not the filming rights? Or what are you talking about? You mean like WWE or what? I don't know anything about that. If you want like my just straight up opinion, I think this is bad. I think this is a very, very bad example of consolidation that is just going to, number one, is going to reduce competition, right? Because like the way Netflix does things, they do things in their own particular way, and the less creative opportunities you have and the more they get consolidated in Netflix, the more samey they'll become, right? Because Netflix, I mean, there's a reason why people say it looks like a Netflix show, right? Like, on one hand, it is a generalization that doesn't really tell the full story, but at the same time, I do think there's also a kernel of truth in there, right? Because HBO was always a very, very different entity compared to Netflix, and compared to really anything else, right? That's why, again, people always said, I want this to get an HBO adaptation rather than a Netflix adaptation. And now that they're going to all be under the same umbrella, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the creative teams inside of HBO, right? Because, I mean, with these kinds of consolidations, it's very, very hard to say how it's going to move around. Because there is a decent chance they just allow them to do whatever they want, because it's still successful, right? But at the same time, they could also be easily moved around depending on what they want. And then people might leave, yada, 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 right? It's very, very hard to say how it's gonna work out. But purely as a very, very high level evaluation, I think this is a bad thing. I've seen people talk about like theaters specifically, or cinemas, call it whatever, right? Like purely in terms of cinema, that's kind of like for me personally, that's only a secondary thing. I think like just as a form of consolidation, this is too much in terms of one media company, and then everything else is just like another bad thing. You know, Netflix said they will reduce theatrical runs for Warner Bros. Movies because it's unfair to consumers. Yeah, I don't know about the exact details because all of it is still breaking. So we'll see. I think like in the short term, not much really is going to happen because I'm not also sure how far along all of this is in terms of actual business dealings, right? Because I mean, this is a insane deal. And usually with stuff like this, there's always like, it kind of goes through in the same way we saw with Blizzard, right? They sort of were acquired, but then there was months and months and months of yapping back and forth, and it gets complicated. The other one was Paramount with the backing of the Saudis. I think I remember something like that. I think Paramount was involved, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do wonder, like, if the Harry Potter remake also pops off on HBO, like, Netflix is going to milk that into oblivion. Right? It is a crazy, crazy thing to see something like this. Never in a million years would I have imagined that HBO would be acquired by Netflix. Never in a million years. But I mean, hey, maybe we can go all the way back to where it began. And you know how HBO wanted to do the Walking Dead, but they were like, this is too brutal, and then they ended up doing Game of Thrones? What if we go all the way back, and then Netflix actually somehow gets The Walking Dead? Like, full rights. Think about that. This is wrestling stuff. I'm gonna sound like a dumb moron looking at this, because I don't know anything about this. Like, you might as well be talking about, I don't know, Chinese. Announced the deal this morning, HBO. Yeah, I mean, this is saying the same thing, like, for the time being, nothing's gonna change, which, I mean, makes sense. These are absolute Goliaths of a company, you know? I fear Harry Potter will be their #1 baby on Netflix. God, I hope not. I mean, this opens up the door to a lot of different things for them, right? Because if they have, like, this whole... I don't know how the rights to Harry Potter exactly look like. I think, like, the wizarding world, it's all under one umbrella. So I think they have literally everything, right? Along with HBO, obviously. So if they have, like, the full backlog of movies, plus this new show... Yeah, I have a feeling that they want to go, like, very, very hard on that, because that is such a known entity in the West that it's crazy. I will also be very, very curious to see what they do with Game of Thrones, because obviously that has also new stuff coming out, right? And considering the talk of, like, doing a animated Aegon's Conquest, I wonder if talks of like actually redoing the ending might even become a thing. A crazy deal. And I can't wait to see what comes out of this, if for nothing more than morbid curiosity. But I mean, hey, I guess at least Lord of the Rings is gonna be on Netflix. I guess that's a good thing. I was looking into specific anime IPs that Warner Bros. Also owned, but it gets very, very complicated, and I don't really know enough about that. Because Warner Bros. Japan, they are part of production committees on many things. But it gets very, very messy with how that works, right? So, I don't know. Because in Japan, when you have a production committee with multiple partners, I don't know, like, who holds the rights, who holds the IP to anything. Is Netflix going to fund the 8th-season Harry Potter series, which has 100 mil per episode budget, LMAO? I mean... Who knows? I mean, if I was a Netflix executive, yeah, I would probably push for Harry Potter to be done. Because it's like one of the safest bets, right? Out of everything, it is a extremely safe bet, but it is also an extremely expensive bet. So I don't know. WWE and AEW are the two biggest wrestling companies in North America, so them being on the same umbrella would be bad because one of the companies is probably leaving and looking to find a new home. I just hope that this form of consolidation doesn't just make everything feel the same, is my biggest fear. Because the way things are done on HBO, they always felt like a lot more raw and gritty. Whereas with Netflix, I don't think there's a single Netflix show that has like a truly... I mean, I guess Narcos is kind of one that feels more like a HBO show than a Netflix show. But it's crazy. They acquired the gaming studio too. I think they acquired literally everything, yes. Which is also... Like, Netflix has tried to do all this gaming stuff many times already, and it hasn't worked, ever. I don't know what they're cooking. Hold on, let's look at this. Who knows? I don't remember, like, Warner Bros. And what exactly they're a part of. Because I think with this, it also gets, like, messy who was brought on as developers, who actually owns what. Yada, 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 yada. Right? Because I remember there was also a bunch of I think people were also saying that Warner Bros. Owns, like, Chainsaw Man or something. I remember seeing something like that. That's not true. At least I'm 99.9% sure that it's not true. U.S. government might stop the Burge, who knows? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, with all of these things, just like it was with Blizzard, I think, like, the actual consolidation is going to take many, many years if it doesn't get, like, stopped multiple times. I keep seeing these things happen, and I'm always like surely this can't be legit, and they happen. So, because I mean, at the end of the day, there is still you could argue like sufficient competition, right? Because Apple TV exists, and like all these other like what's it, Peacock and all these different things, they still exist. So it's not like Netflix has some kind of a prohibitive monopoly on everything. At the end of the day, it's just like media. They don't really own like anything that is proprietary in a way. So I think with that they're like way more lenient. But still, it's a crazy deal. We'll see what comes of it. I think it's bad, regardless. I just think like consolidations of this size are almost always bad. Just because of how it limits, again, creative teams and everything like that. Friends, Oceans, Gremlins, Evil Dead, Mad Max, The Matrix, Beetlejuice, DC Comics, Adult Swim, Tom and Jerry, The Jetsons, and I think like Adult Swim is obviously like an umbrella term, right? So there's a bunch of stuff underneath. The Jetsons, Casablanca, Harry Potter, Citizen Kane, The Goonies, Scooby-Doo, Rick and Morty, Johnny Bravo, Looney Tunes, Hangover, The Conjuring, The Sopranos, Robot Chicken. Why is Sopranos listed separately from HBO is the same thing. Smiling Friends, The Flintstones, the Boondocks, Adventure Time, Sex and the City, Final Destination, all of Cartoon Network, Game of Thrones, which is also HBO. Very weird list, but okay. Singing in the Rain, The Powerpuff Girls, which is just Cartoon Network, okay. Clockwork Orange, The Big Bang Theory, Minecraft, film rights. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Wait, this is actually crazy. Because wasn't Netflix also producing an animated show for Minecraft? Pretty sure they were. Turner Classic Movies, The Wizard of Oz, Dune 3, only distribution rights. The Lord of the Rings film rights, what the hell is TT? Oh, he's the company that makes them. Lego game, Monsterverse, and Warner Bros. Video games. Man, that is one list.